we actually finally had to hear about what has been expected and anticipated, the invitation of Valerio Sibanda, retired General Valerio Sibanda, to the Politburo of ZANU-PF, to be now part of the Politburo. Now, I know him being a composed man, very, very quiet man. A lot of people are asking as to what ZANU-PF, is he coming to aid the interest of, or is he coming to aid also retired General Chiwenga? It remains, but I'm sure him coming to that Politburo has a political significance, and he will play a very, very pivotal role. I think he is the proper person also to be invited in this Politburo at a crucial moment like this. And I must underscore that for Valerio Sibanda to survive within the political environment of Zimbabwe and manage to achieve what he has achieved politically, you cannot take that man for granted. Remember, he was part of ZAPU, so he emerged from ZIPRA, joining the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and we know the history of Zimbabwe, that ZIPRA comrades, most of them, they were killed, most of them, they were isolated, but he managed to survive within these waters of ZANU-PF, and also managed to rise through the ranks up to commanding the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. That is not a mere achievement, and the fact that he was able to maneuver. There are so many military generals from Matabeleland who did not actually make it to where Valerio Sibanda made it to. So is he going to be on the side of Chiwenga or Mnangagwa? Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hloniphani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So, I am of the firm view that the politics of Zimbabwe a little bit twisted. When we start recording, this rain starts to intensify. So these showers that you are hearing is the rain. We don't have ceiling. So let me continue. So the politics of Zimbabwe from 1980 to around 2017, it was following another different template. That template slightly twisted. And it became so, in fact, it's slightly not much twisted, but slightly twisted. And it demonstrated publicly to the people of Zimbabwe that the military, when it comes to issues of succession, it is very, very much in charge. Now, in my thinking, because we don't have enough information, who at this time insisted on the invitation of Valerio Sibanda to the Politburo of ZANU-PF. I don't think it was Mnangagwa alone who undertook this decision. The decision was undertaken after a thorough consultation. Why am I holding this view? If it was in the mind of Mnangagwa, according to the way I see things, the person who was supposed to be within the Presidium or close to the Presidium, if it's in the mind of Mnangagwa, it is none other than Gudawashe Takure. But Gudawashe Takure, he tried to introduce him, and you saw, from Norway, he faced numerous attacks, and at the moment is just being kept there, not even in the Politburo, in the Central Committee. There was a moment I thought that Mnangagwa was going to bring this man into the look at Valerio Sibanda. He's a retired military general. He did not need some branch of ZANU-PF or whatsoever to actually co-opt him to the Central Committee, then to the Central Committee, to Politburo. No, the man was invited straight to the highest decision-making body. You see, he doesn't have to follow the protocol that, in fact, those who were not there, especially in 1980, at the definitive stage of this project called Zimbabwe, have to follow. I mean, it was known he is there. At some point, he would automatically jump and go straight to the top. Now, him also coming into the play, we know that coming into the Politburo, he is not coming for a ministerial position, in my view. He is coming to be part of the Presidium of ZANU-PF. And now there will be 2 military generals within the Presidium of ZANU-PF. That is retired General Chiwenga, as well as also Valerio Sibanda. And on the other side, there will be Mnangagwa. I strongly also believe that Opam Chinguri, though she is not, sometimes she seems to be twerking for Mnangagwa, I strongly believe that she should also be calculated to be part of the military side. So people with a strong military background, it will be in the Presidium of ZANU-PF. Remember, when we talk of that document which leaked, that was discussed, which was presented by Chiwenga, that document was not meant to be presented to the Politburo. It's Mnangagwa who took it to the Politburo. To him, it was a political strategy, so that it appears, he's not implicated in terms of responding to that document. Now, when Chiwenga presented it to him, by that time, the Presidium consisted of Opet Mpofu, it consisted of Opam Chinguri, it consisted of Chiwenga, it consisted of Kembo Mohadi, it consisted of, I'm forgetting the other ones, not important, but it appears, I think that is where the fate of actually Opet Mpofu was actually, Mnangagwa began to question him during that particular meeting, because after that document, that's when there was a reshuffle. Opet Mpofu was demoted from the presidency, which means in the presidency, he did not act to actually defend Emmerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa. But I cannot say the same about Opam Chinguri. You know, Opam Chinguri has been in the game for the longest period of time. She understands also, the mind game. That is why you will hear Themba Mliso also, attacking at some point Mabel Chinomona as well as Opa Chinguri within ZANU-PF, because Mnangagwa feels they have not done enough to protect him from the dominance of retired General Chiwenga. So, in my view, I'm thinking that a retired military general will always be a retired military general. Now, I strongly also believe that in spite of Valerio Sibanda coming from Midlands, he has worked, he has spent so much time with retired General Chiwenga more than Emmerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa, because Mnangagwa was always in the politics. They were in the barracks. When Chiwenga was commanding the army, he was actually deputizing retired General Chiwenga. So in my view, Valerio Sibanda coming in to this presidency, because in some few days or few weeks to come or months or so, he will definitely be replacing Kembo Mohadi, because Kembo Mohadi wanted to resign, maybe seeing the heat these days where he has to choose between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga, and also taking into consideration his health. I think that is becoming too much of him. I don't think it will be him being fired. It will be him actually resigning whilst it still matters, so that post this regime of Emmerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa, he would not find himself in trouble, because what I know for sure is that one way or the other, Mnangagwa is going. Now, one thing about Valerio Sibanda is that is emotionally intelligent, almost typical to retired General Chiwenga. Publicly, you would not know his emotions. You would not know also what is he thinking. You would not know whose side has he picked politically. And also, remember, this is the man who was appointed by Robert Gabriel Mugabe out of trust. But when it was time and also, this is the man who was most probably present when an arrangement was made between other retired military generals and Emerson Mnangagwa. I know a lot of people will claim that is a relative. I wonder, a relative between Sibanda from Matebeleland and Mnangagwa. It doesn't make sense to me. I need, everyone in ZANU-PF, Themba Mliso will claim that Chiwenga is his relative and everyone is his relative. I don't think that holds water in my view, because he is a Sibanda and Mnangagwa. How? Maybe in terms of, I don't know, it must be a distant relative. And I don't think when it comes to politics or executing his duties within the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, that comes into play. He's a man who has never said a slogan. We will wait when he comes through. And remember, I remember when Robert Gabriel Mugabe was removed, he was interviewed and his concern was corruption. That was his concern. And I strongly believe, so one, when a decision was made for Mnangagwa to come through as the president, he was there, he understand what was agreed. You have seen Mnangagwa actually not following that template. And he actually understand Emerson Mnangagwa better. He have seen the betrayal of other retired military generals who maybe, if nothing suspicious was not done to them, maybe by this day they would be alive. So I strongly actually believe that the presence of actually Valerio Sibanda was not just a decision from Emerson Mnangagwa, but it was a decision. Of course, Mnangagwa wants to portray himself as the powerful, the one making decisions, but when it comes to key critical decisions within ZANU-PF, I think Chiwenga is involved also. When especially the decision that is made by him and actually says, I using my powers and so forth, that one would be a decision that is not made by him but has his endorsement, like to say Udagwa Shetakure and Tungwarara should join the Politburo. That one, Chiwenga was not involved. That is why those decisions took the longest time. They were brought in the name of structures are the ones who approved these individuals. So also Mnangagwa was clearing his name from saying it's him. Ordinary co-options to the Central Committee, especially relating to Tungwarara, relating to, I don't think, but when it comes to Valerio Sibanda, I strongly believe that he was also consulted, Chiwenga was also consulted. So to me, the Presidium this time around would be, it would be at an advantage of General Chiwenga. Because I strongly believe Valerio Sibanda understands the role of the military. I mean, before 1980, how ZANU-PF actually have used the military, because the presidents of ZANU-PF have not accepted, all of them did not understand democracy, did not implement democracy. So when it was time for them to be removed, the military always intervened. So ZANU-PF is a political party of demagogues until a new leader maybe comes that will usher democracy, and that will actually be ready to actually pave the way for his predecessor when that time comes. You can see Mnangagwa is supposed to go in 2028, but he's making it difficult for himself to go. So we will be watching a man like Valerio Sibanda, whether being invited there, he will begin to actually chant slogans. And also it will be interesting, the Politburo as well as the Presidium of ZANU-PF with Valerio Sibanda and retired General Chiwenga within the same room. I strongly believe in the intellect of the man. I don't want to prejudge him before actually he says, because it's difficult to talk about Valerio Sibanda. What I know, he has come out openly speaking against corruption. He doesn't like corruption, and that is the reason he may have participated in the process that saw Robert Gabriel Mugabe being actually removed, because and also there is a video of him coming out indicating why they had to take the steps they took. I think it's the only video, and you could tell he's very intelligent, very astute. He knows what to speak, when to speak, and how to speak. And most of the times, he's a man who actually contributes in the background of leadership. That is why you would not hear much of him in the newspaper. Everything you hear about him, mainly it will be speculation. I'm waiting to see when he joins the presidency on whether he will play the same cards or this time around he will open up. Maybe the way he has been maneuvering around, he somewhere, somehow, he may actually one day find himself being the president of. Let's wait and see, because remember, according to Blessed Case, they want a scenario whereby if Chiwenga becomes a president, there is only one vice president. If Chiwenga from Zanda, if he's a president, then the deputy should be from or Zipra. And then when Chiwenga goes, the deputy from Zipra takes over the presidency, and then that arrangement would be supervised and safeguarded by the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. And Mnangagwa was addressed, and he knew those issues. So now the question that I have, if retired military generals wrote to the parliament and they actually they showed through that communique that they were against Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026. The question is, was Valerio Sibanda part of those retired military generals? It's not clear because they did not reveal themselves. And why did they not reveal themselves? It's only Mchena who was revealed, because they know the person they are dealing with at the moment. There is high probability Valerio was amongst those retired military generals, and there is high probability, there is actually less probability he was not part of the process. He has shown that he has shown that over and over when it comes to issues of the politics of Zimbabwe, he does not actually show his feelings. He does not show his position. So it's quite early to judge him. Anything is possible, but I strongly believe that he will not twerk, especially for the side of Emerson Mnangagwa. At this critical moment, he was called at a very, very critical moment in the Zimbabwean politics and in ZANU-PF succession matrix. And he has to play smart. We will watch how he plays within this political arena. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we film live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button And Sanders, you know why I'm laughing? Because there is someone who sees emotions in me. How can I be emotional about this? I just do my work and explain in the best way possible. I see things. You know, some people, they're hallucinating. They see